All right, back to the side effects fun. Okay, so let's go over the tips again real quick. If you're gonna make a really cheap film, a horror film, shoot it right after Halloween. That way you can have access to all those really cheap Halloween goods because they're gonna be getting rid of them and you can just pick them up for next to nothing. Buy a lot of costumes, all that kind of stuff, because then you can use that as a wardrobe. Always have a costume party in your film. That way you got really cheap, easy wardrobe that gives you a lot of variety and a lot of fun, and it looks really cool on camera. I feel like if you're gonna shoot a low budget film, you should always shoot over a holiday, some kind. That way you get a lot of production value from things that people have already done, like Christmas or Halloween, or any holiday actually. As long as people have decorations up that you can use as the backdrop of your film, or that you can get really cheaply to add to the production value, it's something worth doing. Okay, enough of the boring stuff, now let's get into the film. Okay, so here was a great way to set up exposition. It's a guy looking at a computer. We don't get to see who it is, but we know that somebody is following their story as he's got some newspaper clippings and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. Okay, here's a little mood building. As you can see, again, the fake leaves that we've placed all over the ground. And as you also notice, there's a little bit of camera movement. It's not just a dolly shot. So we kind of push in as these two talk, and then the idea was that she's mentally ill and she's starting to have hallucinations and she's craving blood. So notice that we use a lot of red, particularly for the lead. We wanted her wearing red as much as possible. We've got this long red coat. So for some of these shots, we kind of use a body double, but as you can tell, again, downtown, just shooting without a permit, just going out there using available light and knocking it out and getting it done. Kind of give it a creepy look. Okay, so here was another way to get a lot of production value. We used the public library, the one downtown, because it's nice and big, and then we were able to get a lot of really cool shots. And we just picked a side of the library that nobody was at. As you can tell, this area is all law books. Nobody was back there in the law archives, so we pretty much had the room to ourselves. We didn't lock down the library to shoot, but they said if we could get in a place that we didn't bother people, then it would be fine, so that's what we did. Got some extras to fill in. She's hearing all kinds of crazy things. She's got super senses now. And this gives us a chance to, have a little bit of fun and, again, do some cool stuff really fast, really cheaply. And you get some cool looking shots because you got all these bookshelves. So it's basically set dressed for you, up and ready to go. This was a fun shot. It was where they stacked the books so those shelves can squeeze closer. So we had somebody squeezing the shelves closer as we dollied in on her, and it gave her the illusion that the world was collapsing around her. It was something that we discovered on the location. I said, oh, those shelves can move in and tighten up, and they're like, yeah, and I was like, awesome, we're gonna use that, and bam, we did. Now for this scene, we just found a really deserted part of downtown and shot mostly with available light, but then there was one area that was a little too dark, so we just drug out a generator, a really loud, old school generator, not a nice quiet film set generator, and used that to put up some lighting, and that's for this scene here, so we could add a little bit of light because it was a very dark area that had no lighting whatsoever. Interestingly, the police pulled up, asked what we were doing. We said we're making a movie, and they're like, oh, cool, and then drove off. So that's the way it is in Texas. Everybody's pretty cool. Nobody gives you a hard time if you're just out trying to do something. And there she is, running off. As you can see, now she's back to the house. And again, I think this scene, like all the stuff that we added to make this room a little bit cooler, but look, you can see right here, if you look at that area right in here, like look at that, how badly we painted it. But like I said, we didn't want white walls because we felt like that looked like a real low budget film. All these student films always have a white walled room, and the cameras just didn't have the dynamic range at this time. So if you were in a white room, it looked terrible. So that's how you do it. Here, trying to take advantage of the super wide angle lens that the camera gave us so that we could, get that distorted, crazy, I'm losing my mind feel, which I thought worked pretty well. For this next shot, we had to set up a false shelf to make it look like that was on the mantelpiece because it really wasn't, to get the camera back there. And that's a fun low angle shot. All those candles, all that stuff we brought in. The couch was the only thing that was really there when we first scouted the location. But as you can see, it just adds that little bit of kind of creepiness, fun, and I think we got those candles really cheap because they were Halloween costume products. So that vial is the drug in question that the friend of hers is going to use to spike the drinks at his big party because he wants it to be a great time for everybody. Now, it was going to be voluntary. You could take the drug if you wanted. It wasn't like he was going to put it in people's drinks unknown. And then this is her having a nightmare where she drinks some milk. And then, let's see if I can get to it. Yes, and then if we'll back it up a little bit. So as she's drinking the milk, it is going to turn to blood. That's it for today.